Question: do you have a minute to talk about monthly budgeting? Well, maybe about 7 or 8 minutes. Grab a cup of tea or a cup of joe, and I'll be right back. You bet I got my cup with me. Mm. Hi, how you doing? Hi, this is Jan from New York City. My channel name is Jan from New York City. Saves money. Yesterday, in case you missed it, we spoke about the advantages of a yearly budget or an annual budget. Today, we're going to talk about monthly budgets or spending plan. After all, what is a budget? A budget is a plan, and it's a plan on how we spend money. One of the best things to know about this spending plan or this budget is that it puts you in control of your money instead of your money getting in control of you. How can that happen? By not having a spending plan, or otherwise known as a budget. So, let me get right back into it. All right, what are the advantages of having a budget? You're in control of where your money is going, and you are more knowledgeable of where your money is going. You know, not having a spending plan is sort of like, and I like to use this as a comparison with things. It's like being in a balloon that's drifting all over the place and just not knowing where it's going, meaning your money. The balloons are representing your dollars and just flying here and just flying there, flying everywhere, but you just don't know where it's going. It's kind of like not a good thing. So I am not a fancy schmancy person. I know nothing about certain spreadsheets or anything. I am old fashioned and I believe in having lots of trusty notebooks, and I like to use a lot of pens. Okay. But that's my style. So when I create my monthly budget, I like to do it in an old fashioned trusty notebook, separate just from everything else and just for my monthly budget planning. Keep in mind, let's say a person is on a fixed income. Let's say that they're on Social Security, they're retired. That person knows for sure what they're getting every month. But that doesn't mean that the expenses going out are the same. Every month, expenses differ. There's always a difference. So always keep that in mind. So, how do you want to start like a basic budget plan? Get out a pen, if you'd be so kind. And actually, I Googled this just to make sure I'm giving you like really great information. And it says here, making your money work for you, budgeting for beginners. So let's pretend we're all beginners because guess what? Everybody starts at the beginning anyway. And if you've been doing this for a while, it's sort of like maybe a refresher course, if you will. And thanks for being here, by the way. Just saying, just saying. All right, so basically, let's pretend you're using an old fashioned notebook, or if you prefer to type this in, or you have one of those sheets, which are very convenient that you could fill in, and there's nothing wrong with that. And doing these things on your computer or on your phone or tablet, that's great. That's great. I'm just mentioning my personal habit of recording things and writing. I'll tell you one thing good about that. If there's ever a power outage and I'm bored to tears, I could just go over my budget with my pen. Just saying, just saying. Anyway, okay, so basically, here's what you're going to do. Step one, you're going to figure out your income. Before I get into it, take a day, not a whole day, a couple of hours, an hour, on a quiet afternoon or when you're full of energy, vim and vigor, and your mind is alert, and you're not distracted in any way, shape, manner, or form. I always suggest this: put on some nice music, relaxing music, not sleepy music, music that keeps you going, not too hyper, not too sleepy time, just right for you. Have that cup of tea or joe and just block that time for you. If you have to disconnect your phone, disconnect your phone. That way you could put your full energy into this. And it's very simple. So we're not talking about like rocket science on this thing. All right. So the first thing you're going to do is number one, step one, figure out your income. Now, some people say, I know what I get every month. Okay. But write it down anyway. It is important sometimes to visually look at things, look at figures. It makes it more real. Okay, instead of just saying, I know it off the top of my head. You probably do. Many people probably do, but it doesn't hurt to write it down. So, step one, figure out your income. Step two, calculate your monthly expenses. Now, for some people, this is old hat information. And for some people, it's actually a revelation. They're shocked. They're like, really? Like, So that means, take out your bills, what do you pay every month and this and all that. And don't forget to include the things that have been subtracting automatically from your accounts, whatever it is that's coming out. That's bills you're paying, isn't it, right? Step three, list your financial goals. Do you have any financial goals? Or do you feel you can't attain those goals? Or maybe those goals seem way too far away. We could talk about that on another video. Okay. But step three, list your financial goals. Step four, identify your discretionary expenses. What does that mean, discretionary expenses? That means things that are not fixed. For example, let's say a person, I'm just using this figuratively, pays a fixed amount of rent or mortgage every month. It's not changing. The rent is not changing. Let's say that person's spending $1,500 a month on rent. That's fixed, and the only thing it'll probably do, unless you move somewhere else completely, it'll probably just keep going up. But for the moment, let's say that person's paying $1,500. That's fixed. But money that you're spending at the grocery store, that's discretionary. You're in total control of that amount of money that you wish to allocate to your grocery budget. So groceries would be part of your discretionary spending. And then finally, subtract your total expenses from your income to create a full budget. This is an interesting part. If you have more not budget than budget, then it's time for you to re-examine a few things that you can fix. Sometimes people do not realize till they're sitting down with paper and pen or computer, typing, whatever, that they might be in the hole, like let's say $50 a month behind for some reason or another. And you didn't know that. And things tend to pile up until one day it's like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? This is why it's really, really good to nip it right away and not be afraid. This is one of the things I wish that a lot of people, many people aren't afraid, but believe it or not, some people are afraid. Like they're afraid to look at their own numbers. And that's the wrong way to think, because the more you look at it, the more familiar you get with it. The more familiar you get with it, the more in control you get, because you're going to do things to readjust it. Okay, so your budget is sort of like a living creature of which you can manage, living and breathing situation document that you can manage. So there. Well, I hope this helps, and I want to wish everybody the best of success with your budgeting. I prefer to use the words spending plan, because it really is a plan, and it is a plan of how you spend. So spending plan, to me, it just works, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to worry about semantics as long as you're happy with it. So check your numbers, see what you could do to make them better. And that's really, really important. So I'm so glad that this will help someone. I know it will. Be back with a wave in a minute. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Take good care now, everyone. Bye.